Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today, and this one is an Oxford Illustrated Bible in the King James Version. Now, this particular edition is a little unique. This is a Ruby 32 MO. Now, typically Rubies, when you see them, they're 24 MO, and the way that it works is the lower the number, the larger the Bible is. So if you have like an 8 VO, that's typically like a full-size Bible that you would see. So when you get down to like a 32 or a 64 or even a 96, those get very, very, very tiny. They become very tiny Bibles. So this particular edition, like I said, is the Ruby. And normally you see them in 24s, but this is the 32, so it's a little bit smaller than what you would normally see. Now this one is a illustrated Bible, like I said before, but it's just a text Bible, so there's nothing crazy going on with it. But I wanted to show it off to you guys anyway, just because it is kind of a cool and unique edition. Now this one did include the box, which I'm super stoked about. I always love it when I can get the box for these editions. Go ahead and take a look at it. It's just a blue 2-piece box here. There's a label on it. It does say Oxford Illustrated Bible, and it does have an item number there, I'm assuming, of 0215, and there is a price written there in pencil, and it looks like $3.50. So over $3.50 you could have bought this one. And there's a sticker on the back that does say Made in Great Britain. And then on the bottom, it's just kind of the bottom of the box there. Nothing too crazy. Go ahead and put that off to the side. Now, the Bible itself, you can see, is very diminutive. It is very small. Even in my hands, I have, large/extra large hands, and this thing feels nice and tiny. Certainly not the tiniest Bible I have, but it's definitely getting there. So we'll take a look at the cover. You have that wonderful genuine leather cover, and it does have a beautiful grain there. And there's a nice perimeter line kind of on the interior of the book block here. Not quite at the edge of the book block. I always like it when they match it up with the edge of the book block. But this isn't bad either. You can see the spacing is pretty uniform around the edge from where the perimeter line is to the book block there. But it's a very nice leather, very soft. On the spine, we have the continuation of that line. We also have Holy Bible illustrated in Oxford. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spine hubs there, and they're just kind of pressed in. And if you notice, they're kind of, they're just kind of pressed in. they don't pop up or anything. They're just kind of punctured down or pushed down. On the back, you have that same beautiful grain. Wonderful grain pattern. Excellent condition here in this Bible. We'll go ahead and take a look at the other features. We have nice white head and tail bands. We have a beautiful gold gilt there with a very nice luster. I'm assuming this is actual gold, if I had to guess, because it is so shiny. Now, we can see on the bottom there's the white tail band, and then we have a black version of my favorite ribbon. I despise these ribbons so much. So it's like a braided nylon ribbon or some kind of fabric. And it's very thin, it's very flimsy, and it gets twisted easily, and it's a pain to work with. So not my favoriteest ribbon. If you guys have watched any of my videos, you'll know this. I tend to despise these ribbons. There's certainly better ribbons out there nowadays. Again, I don't know what they would have had back then at their disposal. This might have been the best ribbon at the time. Who knows? I'm not going to harp too much on it. I think I've harped enough. Those terrible ribbons. So opening it up, we can look at the corner work. And it is just a black paper paste down, nothing crazy on the construction. We'll go ahead and get into it. It is a very small Bible, very petite. We have just our end sheet there, and then we have the next page is kind of a thicker, kind of wax-coated page there with an illustration on it, and I'll pull it up to you guys so you can see the illustration there. And then there's a presentation page. I guess I'm going to have to spend most of the review like this because it's so tiny. We'll turn the page. One of the neat things is because it is so small, like it's easy for me to turn with my, opposite hand. You usually have to have like a dedicated hand, but, I can almost turn it like one hand, single-handedly, one-handed. And then you have your personal records page. Neat. Your title page. You can see down there that it is marked Ruby 32 MO. And it has printed in Great Britain again. And then you have your epistle dedicatory. And then you just have the table of contents there at the end of the epistle dedicatory, and it gets right into it. The first book of Moses called Genesis. And there is overcast stitching, another great example of it. These old Bibles, they all tended to have overcast stitching there, and you can see this kind of additional line coming this way. So, and a lot of them had it in the front and the back, which is great. Go ahead and take a look at the text here. Well, I'll keep it zoomed in, right? So we do have the book names and the chapter numbers at the top, along with running headers. And then we have our page numbers down in the bottom center. And this does appear to be pretty consistent with what we've been seeing with text Bibles. I just did what was it? I think it was a new brevier text. And it was very similar to this layout. So I don't know if they would have just replicated it and kind of shrunk it down. I doubt it. I'm sure they kind of reformatted it, especially back then. It probably wasn't the easiest thing to do to just shrink it down. But either way, it's very similar in its execution. We do have the running headers. I think I already said that. We just have the kind of the chapter indicators here with the double line drop cap at the beginning of the chapter. There's no kind of summaries at the beginning of the chapters or anything like that. They are using Pilcrow markers there to indicate a new paragraph, albeit super tiny. And yeah, just a double column verse by verse, kind of standard King James stuff. And another illustration there. Joshua Jericho. We do have a very nice red under gold art gilt. Let's flip over to Psalms. I'll let you guys take a look at it. You can see that nice red under gold art gilt. It's beautiful, very well done. I love it when you get this kind of stair-stepped effect, right? When the signatures kind of separate and you get some like subtle white lines in between the signatures. It's beautiful. And I love that. It's such a cool effect how it's like red to gold, red and then gold, and then red and then gold. Super cool. All right, as far as paragraph settings or poetic settings go, yeah, it's non-existent, just standard KJV fare. We'll go to the New Testament title page. Hopefully I can catch it. There we go. So we have the end of the prophets. And then we have our New Testament title page here. I have the Gospel according to St. Matthew. And you can see it's a black letter text. So no red letter in this one. Which is probably a smart choice. I would imagine it would have been really hard to read red letter. Old school red letter and this small of a size of font. Let's go ahead and get to the end. We'll see if there's anything extra. I think there's a few things. Not much though, it looks like. Probably just some maps. Is that the end? Oh, yeah, there's the end. So there's the end of Revelation. And there is a little code down here, right? So it says 68/48. And I have it indicated that I wasn't, too sure of the production date. And 68/48, that really doesn't help me any. That could be that it was produced in 1968 or maybe it was produced in 1948. I don't know, and I can't tell by that. It's not a good enough code for me to use. But you can see the maps here immediately following the biblical text. Kind of the same story maps that we've seen before on that oxidized paper. Those kind of pastel colors, the yellows and the blues. And it's only one page of maps, so it's just one page, double-sided, with two maps on it. Take a look. Good luck reading that. I would imagine you need a magnifying glass to see that. There's a couple codes down there. There's like a 1049I, it looks like, or a 1049-1, and then a Q215. So there's a few different codes down there at the bottom. I mean, this is just the end sheet. So a very small edition, very, very well executed. I must say that, it's very nicely done. It's just a very tiny edition, which I'm assuming some people would prefer. And it does appear also, I showed this on in the last text, the brevier, but it does appear to also be case bound, which is where they glue the spine directly to the cover there. So there's no kind of Oxford hollow or anything like that. It just gets glued directly to the cover, which is pretty neat to see. You don't see that very much anymore nowadays. I'm not sure why that is. I would imagine, no, I really have no idea. I don't know why. Maybe, the Oxford hollow, I have heard that helps with the kind of elevating the gutter up a little bit so you don't have text running so heavily and deeply into the gutter. So maybe that's why they kind of abandoned this in favor of the Oxford hollow. Maybe. I don't know. So let's take a look and get some measurements for you guys. It's going to be pretty small. It's like just above 6 inches, like 6 1/16 inches tall. And for the width, we have just at 4 inches wide. And for thickness, it's about 1 inch and 3/8 for the thickness. Now look at the text size. I don't have high hopes for this. I'm not even gonna lie. It's gonna be pretty small. Again, not the smallest I have, but once it gets below, like for me, 8-point is really the kind of the limit of my comfort. No, I think it's about a 6.5 point font for the capitals. I'll put the lowercase. Yeah, so the lowercase is a 7-point, but the uppercase is a 6.5-point font in comparison to Times New Roman. So I always default to the lowercase. So a 7-point font versus Times New Roman for this Ruby 32MO reader. Now, is that comfortable? Not for me. Although I have seen quite a few people in the Bible groups asking for pocket-size editions and even smaller. So I guess some people out there are comfortable reading such tiny texts. I am not, that's just me though, to each his own. So Bible buddies, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, by all means, please feel free to leave them down below. If you could comment, subscribe, all the cool YouTube stuff, it would be much appreciated. Until next time, bye.